Hey there everybody, Mazrock here, and today we're going to be talking Protection Paladin with the new 10.0.7 rework. And if you can't tell by the cadence in my voice, I am very, very excited for this. There is a WoW head post about this. We did go about this on stream, but as you can see here, it is basically a wall of text. For the class tree and some of the spec tree. There's lots of changes. I'm not going to be going over every single little minute one here, but I am going to be going over things as a whole. This is actually my second attempt at recording this because Windows updated and decided it was going to shut off all the mics on my recording software. So there was no audio. So yeah, super fun. But the coffee is now in full effect on me, and the excitedness of this tree has me just ecstatic. I'm really, really excited with where they're going with this. Big time. I'm very excited for Protection Paladin 10.0.7. And before I get into it, though, please do like, comment, subscribe, help the algorithm, show the love and support. I cannot do this video without the love and support of my patrons as well, who really make things like this possible and allow me to kind of work a part-time job. And I would love to get away from that part-time job and do this more time, full-time, and make more content for you. That would be great. So if that's something that you'd like, Patreon down below if you wish to support me. There is a Twitch link down below if you want to come watch me stream, ask questions, have fun, because we have stupid fun on stream. And Discord, great community full of wonderful people. Come on, ask questions, hang out, anything you want. Come on by, check that out. All right, so Protection Paladin. All right, so now I am having add-on issues with 10.0 with the PTR here. There's several iterations of the PTR, and my add-ons don't know where to go. So like I usually have demodal to move this around, and I don't have it LVYs going into my 10.0.5 and not in a 10.0.7. It's whatever. So we're definitely having a little bit of issues there, but that's not the thing. Spec tree. So we're going to cover this first, then we're going to go over to the class tree. The spec tree has seen some minor reworks that are that have big impact. So as we start at the top, we have Holy Shield and Blessed Hammer, or Hammer of the Righteous nodes, have actually been swapped, making Sanctuary and improved Holy Shield a lot easier to get. Like a lot easier to get, which is very, very nice. And aside from that, this side of the spec tree is kind of pretty much the same. But then as we go down here, the first big one, and this is one of my big gripes with I don't understand with what they're doing here, underneath the Strength and Adversity Crusaders Resolve node is actually Crusaders Judgment. This used to be where Hand of the Protector is, and you had to spend talent points you didn't want to spend to go get this mandatory talent because of the Holy Power Generation rework, and here they just put it right underneath it. It's so easy to get, and I love it to death. Great rework there. Here we have kind of, this is the Hand of the Protector. I'm going to be a Protection Healy Pally, and if you want to take these points, you absolutely can, and they are easier to get. We do have a new talent here with Seal of Reprisal. Your Blessed Hammer just simply deals increased damage. Very, very nice. Tears Enforcer is the same. Bulwark of Order, still the same. All around, very nice. But then where we start seeing the rework of the rework is in the capstone portion of this tree here. Now, Righteous Protector Live is a 2-point talent that gives your Wings and your Guardian of Ancient Kings a 3-second CDR cooldown reduction every time you use a Holy Power ability. So Shield of the Righteous, Word of Glory, things like that. But they reduce it down to 1 point, but they actually didn't reduce, like they didn't increase the amount. So on live, it's 1.5 seconds per point, and it swapped to a 1 point, and it was still 1.5 seconds. Here, they moved it back up to 3 seconds. So we got our Righteous Protector back. Things are looking good. And they moved the pathing around here, so things are a lot easier to get. They also removed Faith's Armor, and they put it into the class tree, which is great. So getting Bubble Taunt is much easier to access now. And right on top of that is Uther's Counsel. Now, Uther's Counsel is one of those things where it is really, really nice defensively because you can reduce the cooldown of your bubble by a lot. So there is some synergies with Final Taunt there, but it is purely optional. We also have a brand new talent here called Inmost Light, which will increase the damage of Eye of Tyr right above it now, not a capstone in the rework, by 300%. Yeah, we're talking now. But it also reduces its cooldown by 25. Now, in the Wowhead post, they did state 15% in the Wowhead post. So this is something we're gonna have to come back on and look. But any sort of cooldown reduction on Eye of Tyr, which is a very nice defensive to have, a 25% DR applied to mobs, 15, 25%, like, don't get me wrong, I will absolutely have a 45-second Eye of Tyr, and I will not complain about it. But even if it's 15%, it's still a nice cooldown reduction for this ability. So I will happily take it and increase damage. Chef's kiss, let's go. But if you just take these 2 points, you have easy access to Final Stand and Bulwark of the Righteous Fury. Having here seems to be worked out really, really well. And I actually really, really enjoy this. And it's very, very nice. There's still, like, aside from that, there's not a huge amount of changes. If we go to the Blessing of Spell Warding, they had moved it down here in the PTR, and now it is back as a talent choice with improved Ardent Defender and Blessing of Spell Warding. This is a talent tree where I was moving stuff around and I was noticing, like, okay, I can take this, I can move around. I'm getting everything I want. Like, what you want, I'm getting everything I need, right? Everything I need is right there. It's easily accessible. But then there is some room for expression for what you want to do. Do you want to heal a little bit more? There's some talent points that you can move around. Do I really need this damage reduction? Do I need this block value? Do I need this? Can I opt for more healing? And I found it a lot easier to go in and grab and play with. And I'm very, very excited for that. This to me, let's go. I'm so excited for Protection Paladin 10.0.7 just for this alone. But then we also have the class tree. Now, the class tree is seeing a lot of fundamental changes, and that is because of the big rework happening to Retribution Paladin, and Protection's kind of getting reworked in the process. It's because it's not that Protection Paladin is underperforming in live currently. In fact, just last night when I checked on Raider.io, the top tank in Mythic Plus in the world is a Protection Paladin, and so was number 4. So they are doing just fine. But Retribution has some issues. I'm not a DPS Paladin. I don't know what's going on there. But I've heard the community, and they're not happy with the class tree, spec tree, things like that. So this is where this rework is coming into play, and Protection Paladin is now starting to benefit from this big time. So obviously, let's get the big obvious one out of the way. Divine Toll is now in the class tree and not in the spec tree. But as we go from the top down, Obduracy has been moved up to be a point right after Hammer of Wrath, and any Protection Paladin is taking Hammer of Wrath in all contents. That's your first point you're going to put in. Cleanse Toxins has been moved right next to Lay on Hands, which is a nice, easy point to get. This is not... Having this Dispel is not useful in every dungeon, but in dungeons where it's useful, it is insanely useful. Algathar Academy is one. Brackenhide Hollow coming up next season. Poison and disease in one Dispel. Pallies, you are going to be loved in Brackenhide Hollow. So this is a nice, easy point to get. Not a problem there. Freedom, I stand by Freedom where you don't need this in every single dungeon. Now, if you don't know whether you need it or not, grab it. But if you know you don't need it, like in Halls of Infusion, I'm not living without this. But there are some dungeons where there are just no movement impairing effects at all. So it's not super useful in everyone. So I really like this being that optional talent point right at the top here. But aside from that, we're kind of looking at a lot of the same, except for Fists of Justice has been moved right below Cleanse Toxin and Blinding Light, what I call Divine Bedazzle. So this kind of keeps your CC and your stops in one area and allows for a lot easier pathing for what you want to do and where you want to go. Divine Steed is getting a slight change. Seasoned Warhorse increases the duration of your Divine Steed by 2 seconds, so it's going to make it a 5-second talent. Now, there is a little bit of confusion with the Wowhead post. It did sound like there was going to be a total of 6 seconds. Somewhere along the line, so we'll have to check that out. But 5-6 seconds, we're talking minimal here. Divine Cavalier is still going to get 2 charges. Now, one thing that I've had a problem with Divine Steed since the beta, and this is one thing that I am going to continue to iterate here, just in case if maybe anybody from Blizzard does listen to these, is 3 points for the only movement that we have. Like, Paladins don't have movement, and if that's the way you want to design it, fine, but 3 talent points for 2 charges of seed for only 5 seconds each seems really lackluster and very expensive. It doesn't seem like we're getting a lot of big bang buck for our value for our talent points here. I would love to see Cavalier offer another second. Like, give you 2 charges, but offer another second. You keep this baseline at 3, and then Seasoned Warhorse another, like, 3 seconds minimum. I think for it to be worth a full talent point that is not going to increase our DPS at all, this needs to be a minimum of 3 seconds. Like, that's kind of where my brain goes, and that's where I would be happy with it. But that just kind of is what it is, right? So then we have, obviously, Rebuke, Justification, things like that. We have a new talent here with Sanctified Plates. Increases armor by 20%, stamina by 10%, and damage taken from all AoE attacks reduced by 10%. Huge talent point, big value for 1 point. This is where things are going to get a little weird. There is a new talent coming in, and this is designed for Retribution Paladins, where Divine Storm heals you up to 0, you and up to X amount of allies for 5% of maximum health. What that means, I'm not sure. But if we go look into our spell book here, I don't see Divine Storm. So obviously, we're probably not going to get it, and that is not the intention. My guess what the intention is here is they designed this for Retribution Paladins, and if it is a talent that they like and they want and that is good, they're going to add Holy and Protection stuff onto it to make it a class tree worth talent node, right? Because a class tree is for all 3 specs. So my guess is this is still in the design process, so don't scream out dead talent just yet. They're going to add something for Protection and Holy along the way. This is just whether or not it is useful or good for red. That's what I'm seeing here. Like I said, I can usually see where Blizzard is trying to go here, and I was very confused in the last video. I wasn't angry. I was just like, I don't get it. This I'm seeing the brickwork along the path that's going along, and I'm liking this a lot. Then we have Crusader's Reprieve, which is a brand new talent. Crusader Strike and auto attack range is increased by 3 yards. This is actually a rework of a weird increase your range while you're on pony talent, that one. So this is just going to straight up be a passive. The Crusader Strike, this is going to be a question of whether or not this works for Blessed Hammer, whether this works for Hammer of the Righteous. But auto attack damage being increased by 3 yards. There's a lot of weird backpedaling mechanics for tanks right now, and being able to stay within just regular melee while still being able to backpedal out of the mechanics, we're talking like those mortal hues and things like that, is actually really, really nice. And in quite a few dungeons, we'll definitely see a lot of play and kind of keep you out of auto attack range of the mobs, but still allow you to auto attack. And Protection Paladins, this could be very, very big for you if you learn how to not just completely face tank everything, but learn how to kind of backpedal correctly. You could honestly still be doing your full damage kit with zero to little worry about getting hit by melees. This could be a very big sleeper if utilized properly. Face armor, like I said, has been put onto the class tree here. Shield of the Righteous grants 20% bonus armor for 4.5 seconds. Chef's kiss, love it. Seal of the Crusaders right there, right next to Zealot's Paragon. Easy peasy. We are getting a rework to the Seal of Might. Now, the way that it worked now is you got a big mastery buff for 2 points during your wings. Now this is going to be a smaller mastery buff, but all of the time. 4% mastery and 4% increased strength for 2 points, 2% of points. Huge. It's great. It's just going to kind of help Paladins. Because right now, like with Paladins, it's like, I'm a god during Sentinel, and I'm feeling a little squishy during not Sentinel. This is just going to kind of help that balance along the way, but I really, really like it. And then, of course, we have of Dusk and Dawn. Now, if anybody's been watching this channel long enough, you guys know that I fucking hate Dusk and Dawn. I do not like the playstyle. I don't like having to go up to 5 holy power and then come back down to 0. But I also understand that there's a lot of people that do like that playstyle and that gameplay loop. So this is going to be a 50-50 swing for everyone because they are they're changing the way this works. And for me, I like it a lot better. So when you cast 3 holy power generating abilities now, not get up to 5 holy power, you gain the Blessing of Dawn. And when you consume the Blessing of Dawn, you gain the Blessing of Dusk. And so how this works now is your next holy power spending ability deals 30% increased damage or healing. This is Word Glory, this is Shield of the Righteous for protection. So basically, you use 3 holy power generating abilities, Hammer Wrath, Judgment, Blessed Hammer, Hammer of the Righteous, whatever have you not, you immediately gain a stack. Just by using those abilities, you gain a stack. And then this effect does stack, but that also kind of means that you need to kind of be wasting a holy power. So very rarely, unless you're trying to do like a really big hit and plan something out, I don't see this effect stacking very much for Protection Paladin because you really want that Shield of the Righteous uptime. But Blessing of Dawn is going to reduce the damage taken by 5% for 10 seconds. Nothing really changes there, but this is so much of an easier buff to maintain and go and work with and have a lot of fun with. Honestly, I'm so pumped for this as well. But then we're kind of getting Seal of Order and Fading Light. So these are changes that you can make to Dusk and Dawn depending on what you want. So Blessing of Dawn on both Fading Light and Seal of Order is just going to increase the damage of your next holy power spending ability by 10%. Doesn't really matter which one you take, that's what you get. Now, where the skill expression comes in, or whatever one you want, is in the Blessing of Dusk option. So for Seal of Order, Blessing of Dusk is going to increase your armor by 10%, and your holy power generating abilities cool down 10% faster. That's really, really nice. Blessing of Dusk for Fading Light, is your holy power generating abilities also grant you an absorb shield for 20% damage or healing dealt. I really like this. So now we're going to be able to get an absorb shield from Avenger Shield and Blessing of Dusk while it's active. Like, can you imagine that nice, big, juicy judgment you just did? Giving you 20% an absorb shield off that damage dealt? That's huge. That's exciting. I'm loving this. On top of that, we're actually able to get all 3 capstones. We're able to get all 3 capstones. I know you can't see because my camera's here, so, like, I know. Here, let's just kind of move this here. I'm doing this live. Let's go. I'm just way too excited. So let's just kind of move that there, and then we'll hide the goal. This is what I could have done from the start. Oh, I'm right here. I know it looks a little funny. Sorry. We'll move that right there. But you can actually get all 3 capstones. Very, very excited for this. All around, if you guys couldn't tell, if you guys watched this entire video, I am stupid excited for where they're going with this. I see the brickwork. I see where they're going. I think things are going to get reined in. I do. I think what they're doing is they're kind of giving a lot more, but they're going to have to rein it back a little bit before 10.0.7 comes out. I do expect that to happen, but all in all, I'm actually excited to play with Of Dusk and Dawn now. I'm actually excited to play a lot of these things now. Protection Paladins are going to be monsters in 10.7, and I am so very excited. So I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to get rambly. It's been 20 minutes. But hopefully you guys are excited for Protection Paladin as well. Blessed be the light. Lots of skill expression here. Lots of different talents that you can choose and opt out of and everything else. A lot of great stuff to be had here. Very, very happy. And I am going to be covering more Protection Paladin changes as they come around. But this is a significant rework to the class tree and even the spec tree, which a lot of people were dooming on. And myself included, I just didn't understand. But I knew it wasn't going to go live. But it was just kind of like, Liz, if you're watching, I don't get it. But I'm very, very excited for this. Very, very excited for this. And I hope you all have yourselves a great day and happy tanking. Bye.